What the what?
So you want to make a map. Well, lucky for you, Far Cry 5 includes a robust set of tools that will allow you to craft your very own playground of destruction. It can be overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, you can lay down the skeleton for a map in minutes. However, if you are new to this feature, there are some practices that, in most cases, you should avoid. Number 1, don't be flat, for f***'s sake. Yes, flat maps can work. Yes, it can be a pain to carve out terrain. And yes, you can still make a flat map interesting. However, when was the last time you took a walk outside? Nature isn't flat. Just adding some elevation can make a world of difference. Make rolling hills, dig valleys, mold rivers. And don't forget to use the smooth tool to even out the rough edges. If you don't want to morph the terrain, then use one of the presets you can select at the beginning. Number 2, don't make it too big. It's tempting to make a huge map. Trust me, I've been there many times. But big maps present a whole new set of challenge. The bigger the map is, the longer it's going to take to fill that map with interesting things. If you do have the time to make a big map, you also need to consider your budget. These bars in the corner here. You can only fit so much inside your map. For example, here's an empty map that I'm going to cover with trees. As you can see, that exhausted my budget fairly quickly. I would recommend starting small with your map and growing outwards. Number 3, don't forget boundaries. This is typically one of the last things I do when making a map. Once you've figured out the size of your map, switch to the map limits tool. This will give players a death countdown if they get a little too adventurous. Number 4, don't be bland. One thing that separates the top-rated maps from the rest are that they have textures. It's super easy to add textures and it can make a world of difference. You can even change the default texture to whatever you want within seconds. Just click on the grid texture, hit change, and pick whatever you want. Number 5, don't be an ass. Difficulty is good. No one wants a cakewalk of a map unless you're trying to grind for XP. But spawning me in a tiny pit filled with yetis or heavy enemies is not fun. Try to ramp up difficulty as the player progresses through the map. Also, don't cram your map with 80+ enemies and ask the player to kill everyone. There are exceptions to this, such as the map called Semper Fi, but for the most part, be reasonable. Number 6, don't make dumb enemies. While it's not the most intuitive set of tools, you do have some flexibility with enemy AI. You can give them things to do, areas to defend, and places to go. This is something that can wait until the end, but if you are trying to make a map that tells a story and feels alive, it's definitely an important step. Number 7, don't forget about environment. The environment tools are how you set the mood of your map. You can adjust time of day, wind force, fog, the backdrop, and post effects. Seriously, this is what brings your map to life in my opinion. You can turn a simple collection of trees into a dark, eerie forest with just a couple sliders. Now, as you know, rules are meant to be broken, and I'm sure with some digging you can find exceptions to these rules. However, as you create your own maps, these are some solid guidelines to follow, especially if you are just starting out. If you have any tips, leave them in the comments below, and if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Thank you for watching.